Om Sai Ram, Shri Sai Satcharita, Chapter 4. Sai Baba's First Advent in Shirdi. In this chapter, we will cover the following: Mission of the Saints, Shirdi a Holy Tirth, Personality of Sai Baba, Dictum of Gauli Bua, Appearance of Vittal, Shri Sagar's Story, Das Ganu's Bath in Prayag, Immaculate Conception of Sai Baba, and his first advent in Shirdi, three Vadas. In the last chapter, I described the circumstances which led me to write Sai Satcharita. Let me now describe the first advent of Sai Baba in Shirdi. Mission of the Saints. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, 7 to 8, that whenever there is a decay of dharma, righteousness, and an ascendancy of unrighteousness, I manifest myself for the protection of the virtuous and the destruction of the vicious, and for the establishment of righteousness, I manifest myself age after age. This is the mission of to Lord and the sages and saints who are his representatives and who appear at appropriate times and work in their own way to fulfill that mission. For instance, when the twice born, that is, the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, and the Vaishyas, neglect their duties, and when the Shudras try to usurp the duties of other classes, when spiritual preceptors are not respected but humiliated, when nobody cares for religious instructions, when everybody thinks himself very learned, when people begin to partake of forbidden foods and intoxicating drinks, when under the cloak of religion people indulge in malpractices, when people belong to different sects fight amongst themselves, when Brahmins fail to do Sandhya adoration and the Orthodox leave their religious practices, when yogis neglect their meditation, when people begin to think that wealth and progeny, wife, are the sole concern, and thus turn away from the true path of salvation, then saints appear and try to set matters right by their words and action. They serve us as beacon lights and show us the path and the right way for us to follow. In this way, many saints such as Nivrutti, Dhyandev, Muktabai, Namdev, Gora, Gunai, Eknath, Tukaram, Narahari, Narsibhai, Sajjan Kasai, Savata, Ramdas, and various others did appear at various times to show the right path to the people, and so the present advent came as Shri Sai Baba of Shirdi. Shirdi, a holy tirth. The banks of Godavari river in the Ahmednagar district are very fortunate, for they gave birth and refuge to many a saint, prominent amongst them being Dhyaneshwar. Shirdi also falls in the Kopargaon Taluka or the Ahmednagar district. After crossing the Godavari river at Kopargaon, one gets on way to Shirdi. When you go 3 kos, that is 9 miles, you come to Nimogaon, from where Shirdi is visible. Shirdi is as famous and well known as other holy places like Gangapur, Nishinwadi, Audumbar on the banks of Krishna river. As the devotee Damoji flourished and blessed Mangalvedha near Pandharpur, as Samrat Ramdas at Sajjangad, as Sri Nrsimha Saraswati at Saraswati Wadi, so Sainath flourished at Shirdi and blessed it. Personality of Sai Baba. It is on account of Shri Sai Baba that Shirdi grew its importance. Let us see what sort of personage Sai Baba was. He conquered this sansar, worldly existence, which is very difficult and hard to cross. Peace or mental calm was his ornament, and he was the repository of wisdom. He was the home of Vaishnav devotees, most generous like Karna, amongst all the quintessence of all essences. He had no love for perishable things and was always engrossed in self-realization, which was his sole concern. He felt no pleasure in the things of this world, or of the world beyond. His antarang heart was as clear as mirror, and his speech always rained nectar. The rich or poor people were the same to him. He neither knew nor cared for honor or dishonor. He was the Lord of all beings. He spoke freely and mixed with all people, watched the actings and dances of nautch girls, and heard ghazal songs. Still, he swerved not an inch from samadhi, mental equilibrium. The name of Allah was always on his lips. While the world awoke, he slept, and while the world slept, he was vigilant. His inner self was as calm as the deep sea. His ashram could not be determined, nor his actions could be definitely determined. And though he lived in one place, he knew all the transactions of the world. His darbar was imposing. He told hundreds of stories daily. Still, he swerved not an inch from his vow of silence. He always leaned against the wall in the masjid or walked morning, noon, and evening towards Lendi, Nala, and Chavali. Still, he at all times abided in the self. Though a siddha, he acted like a sadhaka. He was a meek, humble, and egoless, and pleased all. Such was Sai Baba, and as the soil of Shirdi was trodden by Sai Baba's feet, it attained extraordinary importance. As Dhyaneshwar elevated Alandi, Eknath did to Paithan, so Sai Baba raised Shirdi. Blessed are the grass leaves and stones of Shirdi, for they could kiss the holy feet of Sai Baba and take his dust on their head. Shirdi became to us devotees another Pandharpur, Jagannath, Dwaraka, Benares, that is Kashi, and Rameshwar, Badrikedar, Nashik, Triambakeshwar, Ujjain, and Mahakaleshwar or Mahabaleshwar, Gokarna. Contact of Sai Baba in Shirdi was like our study of Veda and Tantra. It quietened our sansar, world consciousness, and rendered self-realization. The darshan of Shri Sai was our yoga sadhana, and talk with him removed our sins. Shampooing his legs was our bath in Triveni Prayag, and drinking the holy water of his feet destroyed our sins. To us, his commands were Vedas, and accepting eating his udi, sacred ashes, and prasad was all purifying. He was our Sri Krishna and Sri Ram, who gave us solace, and he was our Parabrahma, absolute reality. He was himself beyond the pair of dvandvas, opposites, never dissected nor elated. He was always engrossed in his self as existence, knowledge, and bliss. Shirdi was his center, but his field of action extended far beyond to Punjab, Calcutta, North India, Gujarat, Deccan, now in Bangladesh and Konkan. Thus, the fame of Sai Baba spread far and wide, and people from all parts came to take his darshan and be blessed. By mere darshan, minds of people, whether pure or impure, would become quiet at once. They got here the same unparalleled joy that devotees get at Pandharpur by seeing Vittal Rukumai. This is not an exaggeration. Consider what a devotee says in this respect. Dictum of Gauli Bua. An old devotee by name Gauli Bua, aged about 95 years, was a Varkari of Pandhari. He stayed for 8 months at Pandharpur and for 4 months Ashada to Kartik, that is July to November, on the banks of the Ganges. He had a donkey with him for carrying his luggage and a disciple as his companion. Every year he made his vari or trip to Pandharpur and came to Shirdi to see Sai Baba, whom he loved most. He used to gaze at Baba, saying, "This is Pandharinath Vittal incarnate, the merciful Lord of the poor and helpless." This Gaulibua was an old devotee of Vithoba and had made many a trip to Pandhari, and he testified that Sai Baba was real Pandharinath. Vittal himself appeared. Sai Baba was very fond of remembering and singing God's name. He always uttered, Allah Malik, God is Lord, and in his presence made others sing God's name continuously, day and night, for all 7 days of the week. This is called Nam Saptah. Once he asked Das Ganu Maharaj to do the Nam Saptah. He replied that he would do it provided he was assured that Vittal would appear at the end of the 7th day. Then Baba, placing his hand on his chest, assured him that certainly Vittal would appear, but for that the devotee must be earnest and devout. The Dankapuri Thakur of Dakurnath, the Pandhari of Vittal, the Dwarka of Rancho Krishna are here in Shirdi. One need not go far out to see Dwarka. Will Vittal come here from some outside place? He is here. Only when the devotee is bursting with love and devotion, Vittal will manifest himself here in Shirdi. After the Sapta was over, Vittal did manifest himself in the following manner. Kaka Sahib Dikshit was as usual sitting in meditation after his bath. He saw Vittal in a vision. When he went at noon for Baba's darshan, Baba asked him point blank, "Did Vittal Patil come? Did you see him? He is a very truant fellow. Catch him firmly, otherwise he will escape if you are even a little inattentive." This happened in the morning, and at the noon there was another Vittal darshan. A hawker came there for selling 25 or 30 pictures of Vithoba. This picture exactly tallied with the figure that had appeared in Kaka Sahib vision. On seeing this and remembering Baba's words, Kaka Sahib Dikshit was much surprised and delighted. He bought one picture of Vithoba and placed it in his shrine for worship. Bhagwantrao Kshirsag's story. How fond was Baba for Vittal worship was illustrated in Bhagwantrao Kshirsag's story. The father of Bhagwantrao was a devotee of Vithoba and used to make Varis annual trips to Pandharpur. He also had an image of Vithoba at home, which he worshipped. After his death, the son stopped everything, the Vari, the worship and Shraddha ceremony, etc. When Bhagwantrao came to Shirdi, Baba, on remembering his father, at once said, "His father was my friend, so I dragged him, the son, here. He never offered Naivedya, offering for food, and so he starved Vittal and me, so I brought him here. I shall remonstrate him now and set him to worship." Das Ganu's bath in Prayag. The Hindus think that a bath in holy Tirth of Prayag, where the Ganga and Yamuna meet, is very meritorious, and thousands of pilgrims go there periodically to have the sacred bath there. Once Das Ganu thought that he should go to Prayag for a bath and came to Baba to get his permission for doing so. Baba replied to him, "It is not necessary to go so far. Our Prayag is here, believe me." Then, wonder of wonders, when Das Ganu placed his head on Baba's feet, outflowed streams of Ganga, Yamuna, water from both the toes of Baba. Seeing this miracle, Das Ganu was overwhelmed with feelings of love and adoration, and tears filled my eyes. Inwardly, he felt inspired, and his speech burst forth into a song in praise of Baba and his Leelas. Immaculate Conception of Sai Baba and his first advent in Shirdi. Nobody knew the parents, birth or birthplace of Sai Baba. Many enquiries were made, many questions were put to Baba and others regarding these, but no satisfactory answer or information has yet been obtained. Practically, we know nothing about these matters. Namdev and Kabir were not born like ordinary mortals. They were found as infants in mother of pearls, Namdev being found on the bank Bhimrathi river by Gonai and Kabir on the bank Bhagirathi river by Tamil. Similar was the case with Sai Baba. He first manifested himself as a young lad of 16 years under a neem tree in Shirdi for the sake of bhaktas. Even then, he seemed to be full of knowledge of Brahma. He had no desire for worldly objects, even in dreams. He kicked out Maya, and Mukti, deliverance, was serving at his feet. One old woman of Shirdi, the mother of Nana Chodhar, described him thus: "This young lad, fair, smart, and very handsome, was first seen under the neem tree, seated in an asana. The people of the village were wonderstruck to see such a young lad practicing hard penance, not minding heat and cold. By day he associated with none, by night he was afraid of nobody. People were wondering and asking when this young chap had turned up. His form and features were so beautiful that a mere look endeared him to all. He went to nobody's door, always sat near neem tree. Outwardly he looked very young, but by his action he was really a great soul. He was the embodiment of dispassion and was an enjima to all. One day it so happened that God Khandoba possessed the body of some devotee, and people began to ask him, Deva, God, you please inquire what blessed father's son is this lad, and when did he come? God Khandoba asked them to bring a pickaxe and dig in a particular place. When it was dug, bricks were found underneath a flat stone. When the stone was removed, a corridor was seen in which 4 samais lights were burning. The corridor led to a cellar where cow-mouth shaped structures, wooden boards, rosaries were seen. Khandoba said, "This lad practiced penance here for 12 years. Then the people began to question the lad about this. He put them off by telling them that this was his guru's place, his holy Vatan, and requested them to gird this well. The people then closed the corridor as before. As Ashwatha and Audumbar trees are held sacred, Baba regarded this neem tree equally sacred and loved it most, and other Shirdi devotees regard this site as the resting place, Samadhi Sthan of Baba's Guru, and prostrate before it. 3 Vadas, the site with the neem tree and surrounding space, was bought by Mr. Hari Vinayak Sathe, and on this site a big building styled Sathe's Vada was erected. This Vada was the sole resting place for pilgrims who flocked there. A platform was built round the neem tree, and lofts with steps were constructed. Under the steps there is a niche facing south, and devotees sit on the platform facing north. It is believed that he who burns incense there on Thursday and Friday evenings will, by God's grace, be happy. This Vada was old and dilapidated and needed repairs. The necessary repairs, additions, and alterations have been made now by Sansthan. Then, after some years, another Vada, Dikshit's Vada, was constructed. Kaka Sahib Dikshit, solicitor of Mumbai, had gone to England. He had injured his leg in an accident there. The injury could not be got rid of by any means. Nana Sahib Chandorkar advised him to see Sai Baba. So he went to Sai Baba in 1909 and requested him to cure the lameness of his mind rather than that of his leg. He was so much pleased with the darshan of Sai Baba that he decided to reside in Shirdi. So he built a Vada for himself and other devotees. The foundation of this building was laid on 10th of December 1910. On this day, 2 other important events took place. Mr. Dada Saheb Kharpade was given permission to return home, and the night Aarti at Chavali was started. The Vada was completed and was inhabited on the Ram Navami day in 1911 with due rites and formalities. Then another Vada or palatial mansion was put up by the famous millionaire Mr. Booty of Nagpur. A lot of money was spent on this building, but it was all well utilized, as Sai Baba's body is resting in this Vada, which is now called as Samadhi Mandir. The site of this mandir formerly had a garden which was watered and looked after by Baba. 3 Vadas thus came up, where there was none formerly. Of these, Sate's Vada was most useful to all in the early days. The story of the garden, which was attended by Sai Baba with the help of Vaman Tatya, the temporary absence of Sai Baba from Shirdi, and his coming again to Shirdi with the marriage party of Chand Patil, the company of Devi Das, Janki Das, and Gangagir, Baba's wrestling match with Mohiddin Tamboli, residing in the masjid, love of Mr. Dengle and other devotees, and other incidents will be described in the next chapter. Bow to Shri Sai, peace to all. Om Sai Ram.